Shadows of the Heart, born from a true romance. James Badmus stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his corner office, overlooking the glittering Lagos skyline. At 45, he was the epitome of success, CEO of Badmus Industries, a billion-dollar empire spanning oil, real estate, and tech. 6 feet tall, with a light complexion that glowed under the African sun, and features so chiseled they could grace a magazine cover, he turned heads wherever he went. Yet his personal life was a void, a meticulously maintained mansion with 8 bedrooms, echoing with the footsteps of housekeepers, but no laughter, no warmth. His mother, Tina, had prodded him endlessly. "Why no woman, James? Even as a boy, you never brought anyone home." She'd even accused him of being gay once, her voice trembling with concern. He denied it vehemently, his eyes flashing with rare emotion. "Never, Mother. That's not me." The truth was buried deeper, a secret he'd guarded like a vault. 2 years ago, his father's private jet plummeted into the Atlantic, killing the patriarch and leaving James to inherit the throne. But the crash wasn't the start of his isolation, it was the culmination. James threw himself into work, rising at dawn and returning past midnight, his only breaks being rare evenings with Fred and Cola. Over whiskey at upscale lounges, he listened to their tales of marital bliss, Fred's anniversary trips, Cola's kids' soccer games, smiling faintly, nursing his drink. "One day," they'd tease, "you'll find her." James would nod, but his mind wandered to the past, to the reason he'd sworn off love. It began 20 years ago, when James was 25, fresh from Harvard Business School. He'd met Elena at a charity gala in London, a stunning Nigerian-Italian architect with eyes like polished obsidian and a laugh that cut through his defenses. She wasn't after his money. She challenged him, dreamed with him. They fell hard, planning a future amid stolen weekends in Paris and Rome. But Elena had a secret. She was investigating corruption in the oil sector, whispers of sabotage and bribes that tangled with Badmus Industries' rivals. James dismissed it as paranoia, but one night she vanished. No note, no trace. The police called it a runaway, but James knew better. Her apartment ransacked, files missing. He hired private investigators, spent fortunes, but leads dried up. Was she dead? Kidnapped? Betrayed? The uncertainty gnawed at him, turning trust into suspicion. James never got close to any woman after that. The one woman he had let into his life was missing, and for that reason they all seemed like risks, potential threats in a world where his family's wealth bred enemies. So he built walls, focusing on the empire, vowing to unravel the mystery alone. That vow cracked on a humid evening in Lagos. James attended a corporate fundraiser for aviation safety. Ironic, given his father's fate. There, amid the clinking glasses and forced smiles, he spotted her. Lara Adebayo, a 38-year-old investigative journalist with a reputation for exposing corporate scandals. She was elegant in an emerald gown, her dark skin radiant, her gaze sharp as she interviewed guests. When their eyes met, James felt a jolt. Not just attraction, but familiarity. She approached him boldly. "Mr. Badmus, care to comment on rumors that your father's crash wasn't an accident?" His pulse quickened. "Rumors are just that, Miss Adebayo. Why dredge up pain?" She tilted her head, undeterred. "Because truth heals, and I think you know more than you're saying." Intrigued and wary, James agreed to an off-the-record chat over coffee the next day. Lara was relentless, her questions probing the crash's anomalies, tampered black box data, anonymous tips about sabotage from rivals. As they met more, meeting after meeting, First professionally, then casually, sparks flew. She shared her own scars, a failed marriage to a cheating politician, leaving her guarded but hopeful. James opened up in fragments, mentioning Elena without details, his voice cracking. Laura's touch on his arm felt like a lifeline, her laughter echoing Elena's, but more warm and more real. But not too long. Suspense shadowed their budding romance. Strange occurrences plagued James. Anonymous emails with old photos of Elena, a shadowed figure tailing his car, a break-in at his mansion where only his study was disturbed, files on the crash rifled through. "Someone's watching," he confided in Lara one night as they walked the beach under a moonlit sky. She nodded, her hand in his. "I've been getting threats too. This story, it's bigger than us." That night, they decided to settle scores with their past, so together they dug deeper. Laura's contacts revealed Elena hadn't run. She'd been silenced, forced into hiding after uncovering a plot by a rival conglomerate to eliminate James's father years later. The same rivals now targeted James, fearing he'd connect the dots. James finally understood everything and this terrible pain and fear that was stuck in his heart for years. One evening, Lara was home thinking of James. She couldn't get him out of her thoughts. It's not as if they were dating and they hadn't been intimate in any way, but at that moment she just could think of only James. So she picked up her phone and called him. James at that point was also thinking of dialing Lara's number when her call came in. "Lara," he answered immediately, his voice shaking, and it made him angry with this sudden weakness. "James, I need to see you. I know it's a bit late and—" He cut her short. "I need to see you too. Send me your location, I'm sending my driver over." Lara sent her location immediately, smiling hard like a teenager going to see her boyfriend who just turned 18. About 45 minutes later, James's driver was at her gate. She touched her makeup again and stepped out to go meet him parked outside in a Model Y Tesla. In another hour, they were at James's residence. James walked out to welcome her dressed in casuals that exposed the hair on his chest and his biceps. Lara could not help but gape as her heartbeats increased. "Come in," he urged her. "What can I offer you?" "Just listening ears," she smiled. "Is something wrong?" he asked, concerned. "I can't say, but I've been having this strange feeling, and I felt it is somehow connected to you and I and our past. I don't really know," she stammered. "Relax." He reached for her hand and held it tight. She felt relaxed and leaned over for a kiss. He wasn't expecting it, but he kissed her passionately. Then they went more intimate, and James carried her in his arms and took her to his well-furnished massive bedroom where they made love endlessly. It was the second time he had ever been with a woman. That night, the rain fell so heavy outside, and Lara felt so safe in James's arms. It wasn't up to 2 hours when, in a heart-pounding climax, during the stormy night at his mansion, intruders struck. James and Lara flung out of the bed and barricaded themselves to the study, which was built as a hideout in times like this. James quickly thinks, grabbing a hidden panic button, summoning security, who took over the situation. As sirens wailed, James confessed everything to Lara, how his fear of loss had kept him single, a prisoner of suspicion. "I thought love was a weakness," he whispered, pulling her close amid the chaos. The attackers from his past were finally caught. The hired gunmen were linked to the rivals. With evidence in hand, James exposed the conspiracy, avenging his father and clearing Elena's name. She'd passed away in hiding, but her legacy lived. Freed from the shadows, James proposed to Lara under a small beach moon 6 months later.
You've shown me trust isn't a risk, it's the reward. They married in an intimate ceremony, his mother Tina beaming, Fred and Cola toasting. James's mansion is filled with life, Laura's books, their shared dreams, and soon, whispers of a family. The bachelor no more. He found love not despite the suspense, but through it, proving that even the deepest secrets could lead to the brightest dawn. If James and Laura's roller coaster of danger, secrets, and real love left your heart racing, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell, bing, so you never miss the next billionaire romance drop. Drop a heart in the comments if you believe love can conquer anything. And tell me, would you risk it all for a love like this? Subscribe. Let's fall in love with stories. Together. It's J. George Anabor.